Now, it's always a pleasure when I'm able to collaborate with companies and vendors, sword and knife companies and vendors, and able to get you over samples to show on my channel, especially companies that I am a big fan of. Welcome guys, this is Joe Steele from JS Bladecraft. I welcome you to my channel once again, and I am bringing you another knife review, a folding knife review, a very special folding knife, not your run-of-the-mill folding knife. This is something that I think is going to basically really last you a lifetime if treated well. I think they make some very durable fixed blades, but their folders, especially their elite product of folders, are excellent. I just happen to really love their products. I have reviewed many of their fixed blades, and I love their OEMs. There are some really talented people in Taiwan that are producing some excellent knives. Bestech is producing their folders now, and they're an elite class of folders. I have been a big fan of them for a long time. I always appreciate Carrie for sending me over these two. Over the moon. I am over the moon over these folders, and I'm really looking forward to showing them to you. But first, we need to take a look at the knife in its pristine condition. And I wanted to give you the experience of basically getting an off-grid product in your hands to show you the experience of actually purchasing the knife, taking it home, opening it up, and seeing what you have right out of the box. Here's the initial box that it comes with. What I like about Off-Grid is the fact that he takes a lot of pride in his product, and you can tell. We had Carrie on Blade Talk with Scab and Joe a couple of months back, probably about a month and a half ago. Definitely take a look in the catalog. I'll try to put in the link in the description of the video. He's just a normal guy who really loves knives. He took a passion into knives, and he found some really great OEMs to partner up with, and Off-Grid was born, and he's incredibly tough, really good looking, very versatile, excellent knives. Every one of his knives has a different icon, a different artwork that represents his knives. Now, if you look at his box, I really like this box. It's like a hard cardboard, plasticky type of box, nice design. It's got a magnet flip open, and you just kind of want to keep your knife in this box pretty much at all times. It's that nice of a case and nice presentation. And before we go in there, you obviously see you have stickers here that it comes with, and it has pretty much all of his knives. Like I said, it's a nice full color brochure of all the different types of his knives, whether it be hunting knives, self-defense knives, bushcrafting knives. It's all here, and he gives you a nice display in this booklet for you to kind of keep and have a good resource in terms of his current knives that he sells. You also have a nice cleaning cloth, okay, that basically you could polish up your fingerprints off your knife with the logo from Off-Grid on the terry cloth. And then you have a card with an Off-Grid warranty, and it has an email where if you encounter problems, okay, here is your warranty card. You register as soon as you get it, and at least you're covered against any defects coming out of the factory from the knife. This was all completely tightly wrapped when I first opened it, but this is basically the Black Mamba V3. It's actually just the Mamba, not the Black Mamba. I like calling it the Black Mamba because it is all blacked out, and it's just a beautiful, elegant type of knife. Now, as you see this knife on screen, this looks like a museum style knife. Now, the way I shoot them and the way I present the knives to you, whether it be a sword or knife, whatever I present on my channel, I make everything look museum quality. It's not quite, this particular knife is not the sleekest knife, but it definitely looks like a museum quality, approaching that museum quality type of knife. I'm calling it a touch of classy badassery. That's what I would definitely call this. It's a really beautifully refined knife. It's fully loaded, everything you could possibly want in a knife, but it has a really classy, beautiful, approaching museum quality type of feel at the same time as being a very rugged type of knife. Now, the trademark with a lot of their folders is the fact of that beautiful sound of the clicking motion of the frame lock going against the full titanium frame. Really smooth ball bearings that really kind of just closes to place with very little effort. You can actually kind of hear or feel the ball bearing is kind of really smoothing the blade right back into place very smoothly. Both these knives from Off-Grid that I just got, Fidget Kings, you want to just kind of open and close these things all day long. It's really that satisfying. The click and that soft close is extremely satisfying. It's just, all right, so the actual blade is a Warncliffe type of blade now. It's in CPM Magnacut version 3 of this knife already. Now Magnacut is perhaps the most balanced super steel ever produced to the date. It offers an exceptional edge retention, toughness, wear resistance, corrosion resistance, all wrapped up in a beautiful 62 HRC, and it's also easy to sharpen. So it's kind of really one of those like perfect steels out there you're going to be relying on every day. That's going to have the edge retention. You know it's going to go through very long trips without having to need really resharpen it. This knife particularly came extremely razor sharp out of the box, which you expect to have from a Magnacut type of steel, and this is definitely no exception. It's hair-popping, razor sharpness out of the box. With that black PVD coating, with the Magnacut, with the corrosion resistance, with that extra sharp, full flat type of grind, it definitely makes this knife design even better by giving you a better material in terms of CPM Magnacut, which again, these days is becoming kind of like a popular steel. And being that it's a Warncliffe and it's a 4-inch blade, it's a pretty much perfect size, but not too large where it's going to be a little cumbersome in your pocket, especially because it's a very deep pocket carry in terms of the clip, all titanium, of course. If you guys watch my channel, you know that the handles are more important than the blade for me. The plus is the fact that you already have this, you know, extra durable, extra versatile Magnacut, but adding in a comfortable, sizable handle is going to be, or makes all the difference in the world in terms of having enough purchasing hand for anything from large to extra large to even double X large hands is going to be perfectly fine in the girth of this handle, and the length of this handle is perfectly fine for any size hands to be able to wield this very, very comfortably and work with it very comfortably. Being a 4.2 inch, very, very comfortable to me. It kind of really just melts into your hands. Like most of the handles that I've held in terms of their fixed blades, their folders are pretty much carries the same tradition of that extra comfortable handle. Now the fact that this is titanium, it's a full titanium handle with that Mamba type of look, that recessed hexagonal type of design on the handle, which is absolutely beautiful, beautifully done. It makes it also not only aesthetically pleasing, but it also makes it extremely grippy in the hand. Even with wet hands, you feel like this thing is never going to slip or come out of your hands. You can take many different types of grips. The reverse grip is very comfortable because you have that a little bit of a ramp over here on the corner of the pommel where you can kind of really rest your thumb. So the reverse grip is very comfortable. Every type of grip is very, very comfortable with this knife, and versatility is pretty much what it's all about. Titanium handle that's also going to be corrosion resistant. It's resistant to basically wear and tear. Titanium is probably one of the best materials you can put on a knife. Being that this knife is this large, it is kind of light as a feather. And when you put this into your hand the first time, you're really taken back of how light and nimble this knife is in your hand. And 9 1/4 inches, only 6 ounces. Titanium is a very strong and lightweight type of material. It's, like I said, this is probably one of the most durable handles you could have on a knife. It's not cheap as well. It brings up the cost of the knife, but it's definitely something that's going to last you. Their lockups are strong. You can feel them. You can feel when you try to wiggle the blade, you know how strong this knife is. And it's not a cold steel triad. Obviously, the triad locking system from Cold Steel is the best, I think, on the planet. But I don't think this is good. This is too shabby. This is definitely going to be really strong. Beautiful jimping all the way on the top here. Really nice thickness of the spine to give you a really good, devastating type of tip. At, you know, really fine piercing type of tip. It's aesthetically an amazingly looking knife. I love the design. He hit it out of the park in terms of the design in this knife. Fully loaded as you want to get on a knife, but by still having that durability of these knives are made to be used. They're pretty, they're made to be looked at and admired, I think, but they're also strong enough to be made to be used. All right, guys, so as you can see, I did many sessions, many days, many different types of sessions, just to try and give you as thorough as a detailed review as I can give you. you're welcome. The first thing I did with this knife is I took it on a hike. Definitely sub 20-degree temperatures. It was after a snowfall. It was a nice, refreshing walk. I wanted this knife in my hand at all times. I usually would take out a fixed blade when I go out into the woods because fixed blade for me is the best thing you can carry. But I'm just trying to prove to you that this can be another reserve knife that you could have, or it could be the only knife you have and you can definitely get by with it. It kind of really felt at home in the environment. I felt sure and grippy with the titanium grip, with gloves, without gloves. It didn't freeze up in the temperature. Nothing would affect it even getting wet because it's got the PVD coating, it's got the titanium scales. I felt like it was just kind of really at home in its environment outdoors, especially in that frosty New York weather we're having right now. And listen, that's what it is, guys. It's Magnacut. It's a sure gripped knife, good, solid lockup. It's a slicer. You can use it to process wood. You can see I was even kind of banging this into branches and just to really test out the lock. That's basically pretty much what I was doing. It felt comfortable and steady in the hand. At no time throughout the normal testing did I feel like the lock was slipping on me. I felt like it was solid in my hand at all times throughout all the cutting that I did with it. Even doing the gravity drops, testing out the tip was fine, obviously, and then going into the hard downward throws. Now, I had used folders in hard downward throws before, and I found that the lock disengaged very easily. This stayed firm throughout even the really hard downward throws that I was giving this, just to test out the lock, how much it could hold up to that type of abuse. Throughout these testings, and Scab had also mentioned this on other videos as well, and we had spoken about it in the past, we do stupid stuff as content creators with folders. Stuff that you're not supposed to be doing with folders, they're not designed for. There's fixed blades for that. So the hard downward throws, the tip tests, the spine wax, which I did not do with this knife because I feel like the spine wax are pretty much, it defeats the purpose of a folder. Now, if you have a liner lock or a frame lock and you're doing these spine wax, it's natural friction and impact. It's going to cause vibrations. That's going to cause the locking mechanism to disengage. I mean, that's just what it is. It's not that it's not good of a knife or not strong of a knife. It's just common sense that friction and vibrations running through the knife, doing the spine wax and things like that are going to cause the frame lock to fail. But when I was doing normal cutting with it, normal wood slicing, hitting into branches, cutting into branches, it was doing fine. It felt firm, it felt solid. It felt like having a fixed blade in my hand. I felt very comfortable with it. And I know it's definitely a tough knife. I'm still convinced to this point, it is a tough knife. I did, however, find its breaking point. I did go ahead and do batoning with it. And it wasn't just normal branches, it was a large solid log. And my purpose of that was, I kind of figured it would eventually fail. I wanted to see what the breaking point of this frame lock was. And you can see that basically a couple of whacks going toward the tip. And when you hit it toward the tip, obviously the vibrations are going to cause the frame lock to fail. Hitting it towards this part of the knife, I was able to finish up the batoning and it was fine. But the point of also this testing was to get it to its breaking point where the frame lock would fail, but also then to see if there was any permanent damage or anything like that. So far, it's still rock solid. It's still, it flips fine, it closes fine, it's no damage to the knife whatsoever, like it was brand new out of the box. Everything stayed pretty much true to form and nothing got damaged from bringing that to its breaking point. Now, this is not something that you want to do with a knife. So by seeing this knife fail doing the batoning, it's not something you should be doing with a folder, with a flip, with a frame lock or a liner lock. I have said it before many times. The only knife that the only folder I would rely on to do that type of testing, that I know that it can handle it like a fixed blade, would be a triad locking system from Cold Steel. This is not a triad lock, but it is a pretty solid frame lock that is going to handle and be solid in your hand doing whatever cutting you're going to be doing with this, you're going to see with the rest of the video, without failing on you. But if you do stupid stuff like baton with it, it's not really designed for it. It can get by, you can make it work, but you don't want to put that extra stress on the frame lock because that's not what it was designed for. But just to show you what is the breaking point of the frame locking system on this Mamba, and there you have it. Because I had many people question about Magnacut and how the edge retention really is on the Magnacut, if it is really everything that it's touted to be, and how, since Off-Grid's first venture with Magnacut, how they heat tempering their Magnacut, is it the way Magnacut is supposed to be? After all of those cutting sections, the hard cutting, the banging it into branches, the batoning, things like that, all the pressure I put onto the edge, to put more pressure on the edge is to cut through steel belted tire. Okay, so I was cutting through the steel belted tire, and listen, if anything is going to dull the edge, it's going to be basically going through, trying to cut through a rubber car tire that's steel reinforced, and that's exactly what I did. I tried to put more pressure on the edge, up and down throughout the entire edge, to see if I can diminish the edge a little bit before I do some more cutting with it. And I gotta tell you, it seemed fine, because I went ahead and processed a long sword box. I cut the entire box in pieces. Is for processing, for recycle, whatever you want to call it, and it did just fine. It cut through everything like it was just brand new out of the box, like there was no cutting with it. And it's still hair popping sharp even to this point. And you could even see after processing that whole hard cardboard box, I went back to cutting rope, and it was cutting like as if it was cutting from the first cutting session I did with this knife. Did not lose any edge retention. It's pretty damn amazing. Magnacut is the real deal. And Off-Grid does a great job in heat tempering their Magnacut. You can see how sharp this knife still is, even with the paper cutting. It is simply amazing to me. I have not seen steel like this that holds the edge retention as much as Magnacut does. So adding Magnacut steel to this Mamba, being a tough knife and a grippy, great purchase on the knife, great solid material, and adding Magnacut, damn guys, this is like the complete package. It really is. So I tout Off-Grid, and I tout these new knives from Off-Grid because I love how they perform. This is my personal experience. I hope you got something out of it, but these knives really work, and they're really tough. If they fail on doing stupid things that they're not supposed to do. But they're true to form. Even though they fail, the locking mechanism is good. The Magnacut held up. The handle is great. I am going to basically be doing a 6-month test with this knife. Now I'm going to show you, I'm not going to sharpen it. I'm going to use it for about 6 months. I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to see how the locking mechanism holds up and how the Magnacut edge, if it still holds up after 6 months of use. That's going to be my next review of this knife. I'll get you a 6-month checkup on it. If you watch this video to the very end, experimental wise, if you guys can put a red heart emoji on your comments, so I know that you watch it till the end, just a little experiment to see how many people actually stay to the end of the video, and I much appreciate it if you do. And if you can't put a red heart emoji, just write red heart, and I know what you're talking about. Don't forget, guys, a like, a subscribe, and a share will always help my channel, and I sincerely appreciate it. And don't forget, I also have a 3-tier membership that you can look into to help out the channel even more. Much appreciated, guys. See you on the next sword and knife video. This is Joe Steele from JS Bladecraft, and this is the Mamba, and I'm going to call it the Black Mamba because that's what it reminds me of, from Off-Grid. Exceptional knife, did a great job, and I am going to be carrying this for the next 6 months, and I'll get checked back with you and let you know how it turns out. Have a good one, guys. Peace out, and I'll see you when I see you. Ciao.